Hey, quilters, I'm Pam Hiller, AccuQuilts cutting expert.
And I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilts creativity expert.
Did you notice a little different
It's a
set
little
we got?
Yeah.
Welcome to part one of the Go Row House Runner Sew Along. Today, the lovely Erica and I will be cutting and sewing the tree shapes for our runner. I'm
That's
excited.
Right. Plus, we're going to have live question and answer throughout the show with AccuQuilts Community Engagement Specialist, Miss Emily Kerr, as our moderator.
Hello, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
The gang is all here.
Gang is all here, yeah.
All right, our three aces are here today. Be sure and ask any questions you have. You can just type in the comments section from wherever you stream our show. And then Emily is going to ask us and relay them, and we're going to answer your questions as we go.
That's right. Now, quilters, in case you missed it, the first show for this Sew Along series was the introduction. So we went over all the supplies and fabrics you need to make this runner, the fabric requirements, using different cube sizes, some personalizing for your runner, and of course, colorways.
It's beneficial to watch that show before you start on the Row House Runner. So be sure to check it out on the AccuQuilts video gallery, Facebook, or our YouTube pages.
That's right. And speaking of Facebook, quilters, have you been following along with hashtag AQSews?
Using this hashtag easily lets us and the rest of the AccuQuilt community see how your Go Row House Runner is coming along. So be sure to use it while sharing pictures of your progress on all of our social media platforms.
That's right, and thank you to everyone who shared pictures of the fabric that they chose.
People chose such different colors, did they not?
Yes.
It was fun to see.
Yes.
All right, it's great to see how right off the bat so many people are making this runner their own.
All right, and to see some of the fabric choices that and how they might look in the runners, let's take a look at what we're going to be making.
All right, so right here in front, this is the sample of a completed runner.
That's right.
Now this is made with the Go Cube Mix and Match 12-inch block, and that's the size that the lovely Erica and I will be using as we sew along together. However, one of the fantastic things about the cube system is that it comes in 7 different sizes, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 12. All 8 shapes inside.
9. Don't forget about 9.
Oh, 9. See, I forgot the 9.
Fell off the end.
I know. All the shapes are the same. They're just different sizes.
That's right. So if you want to make yours smaller, or if you have a different size of cube that you want to use, you can do that easily. When you download the pattern for this project, you'll have the choice of all 7 sizes, complete with the fabric requirements and some size adjustments.
Oh, there we go.
Now the Row House Runner can be downloaded when you are logged into an AccuQuilt.com account, and when the download appears at the bottom of your browser, a zip file will appear containing the pattern instructions for each of the 7 Go Cube sizes.
Okay, so Erica, they're just going to click and open that zip file, and then they're just going to choose the size.
Right.
Perfect. All right. Well, my favorite part of this project is all the options and ways to make it your very own. So let's get started.
Okay, so we were going to take a quick look at the sizes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so here is, I've got a sample, we've got samples of the different sizes. So here's the 4-inch
Which I love.
I know, isn't it just the cutest thing? Now I want to make it in the 4-inch size too. Then there's the 5-inch and different fabric ways. So again, we're showing you some different options. And then here is the 6-inch version.
Look how fun that is with Patriotic.
Oh,
Patriotic.
how cute.
Isn't that fun, Emily?
They're just really all fun. You could make all kinds of seasons. And you've got some bigger ones.
Yes, so this is the 8-inch. I made it in Halloween fabric, of course.
Of course.
And the ghosty fabric. And then here is the 9. And again, just like you, I used a bunch of scraps, which I thought was fun. And then this one is from the 10-inch cube. And I had a bunch of scraps of black and white. So then I just added the solids. I thought it was really fun.
Perfect.
That's a whole fun new look too.
I know, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Down to business.
I know.
Today we're making the tree units, which gives us a great opportunity to work on one of the most popular units for quilters, flying geese. Now, the dies you need for today are shapes 4 and 5.
Here, I'm going to hold them right up.
There's 4, it's the quarter square triangle, and 5 is going to be the small half square triangle. Now again, we're using the 12-inch size, but the pattern is available in all 7 sizes.
You're also going to need a couple of strip dies for today.
That's right.
So for the 12-inch size, you're going to need the Go strip die, which cuts a 3.5-inch strip.
Yes.
And 3-inch dies to make the pieces for the sides of the trunks.
Yes.
You're also going to need one of my favorite strip dies, the 1.5 that finishes to 1 inch. Of
That's
course,
right.
you're going to need mats too if you're using a different size cube. Make sure you refer to your pattern because those strip sizes will vary depending on the size cube.
Right. Okay. So let's start with those shapes 4 and 5. Now be sure to refer to your pattern for directions on how to prep and cut your fabric. So I've got mine kind of ready to go. Pam is going to be prepping some fabric here. So
Right.
do you want to start with how you're cutting your
Yes.
prepping your 4-inch?
Yes.
Or your shape 4s?
All right, so this is my quarter square triangle, and it cuts 4 of the shapes. And what you want to do is just want to measure from side to side. It's about 7 1/4 of an inch, right?
Right.
So you would add a 1/2 inch total to the, so it would be 7 3/4.
Okay.
And if I was doing yardage, I would just do width of fabric. But when I bought my fabric, I just got 1/4 yard cuts.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do that. I don't want to
Pretty
waste.
close. It's pretty
Yeah, and I don't
close,
want to
yeah.
waste that edge. So you always want to have the lengthwise grain. So here is that nice tight edge.
Right.
There's my salvage. Make sure it comes back. Now, Erica, how many of, I have 4 different greens, and I think I just need 1 of each,
You
right?
need 4 of each. So since there are 4 on the die, that's going to be 1 layer of each. So we're going to be able to cut all of those green centers in 1 pass through the cutter.
Perfect. So I'm going to lay them out just like this, and then I'm going to show you a trick, and then Erica can talk about, while I'm cutting these, how you did yours, because you did your fabric a little bit different.
I did do my fabric a little bit differently. So if you had, obviously, if you had some layer cake squares that
Yes.
you were going to be using, or some scrap yardage, you could use that. I went ahead and cut 7 3/4 inch squares, and 1 of each one of my fabrics. So when Pam's done, I'll probably just hand her my fabrics, and she's going to just go ahead and
I am so happy to cut that.
cut those for
All right, so I'm going to line up my 4 layers right here.
Yep.
I'm going to, now, if you have the 12-inch cube, you can use the Go or the Go Big.
Right.
We're going to use our Go Big because we can.
Well, and that's going to give you some extra room on the side for what you're
Yes.
going to show next,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, so I'm going to take a 10 by 10 cutting mat, and then this fabric here, it's only going to cut where there's fabric and a mat. Okay, so I want to make sure my fabric's straight on the die board. It is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that mat on top, and then I'm going to just fold up my fabric next to my die.
Yep.
And it's going to work perfectly. All right. And we're going to cut all of our fabric first, right, Erica? And then we're going to
Yes.
sew.
Today we're going to cut everything.
So my little rest of my 1/4 yards, look what I'm going to do. I'm just going to fold it up right next to it.
Just kind of roll it up loosely. Feed
at
it through. The machine doesn't care.
It doesn't.
It doesn't care
It's
at
not going
all.
to cut where there's fabric. It's only going to cut where there's fabric and a mat.
And
Give
that
it
quick,
some
you've
love.
got all of your tree centers
Yes.
cut. I mean, it's amazing.
Imagine trying to cut those 1/4 square triangles by
Well,
hand.
we wouldn't be able to do it all
Look at
on the
that.
show, would we?
No, no, that's why we're here today. Okay, so I'm going to take my pieces here.
Okay.
And Erica, you want to hand me
Okay,
yours?
I'll hand you mine. Now the next thing, while Pam's getting that started, the next thing that we're gonna need to cut are the shape 5s, and those are the small half square triangles. So Pam's gonna get my 1/4 squares cut, and if you refer, you can take the die and measure a 1/4 inch on either side of the blades to know how wide to cut your width of fabric strip. You can also refer to your pattern. That information is going to be in the cutting directions on your pattern. So if I look at my cutting directions, it says cut 2 4 3/4 inch by width of fabric strips. So thank you, Miss Pam.
You bet. Now you already have your strips cut.
And
so I'm
I
gonna
already
give you-
cut mine. So if you
die.
give me the die,
I'm going to let you cut it.
okay,
Now, remember in every cube you have the appropriate size mats that you need.
that's right.
So speaking of strip dyes, I actually have.
Hi, Emily. I totally forgot you
Well,
were
hi.
sitting there.
Emily's here.
I know.
Please
I've
here.
just been eating ginger snap bars. You know, no big.
Oh, there's a recipe for those
Yes, the
somewhere.
recipe for those, by the way, is on the blog today.
Yes, I'm so excited for that because I'm already scarfing like 10 of them down. So.
Yeah, they were delicious.
They're so
Okay,
good.
I'm going to move my fabric over
Yeah,
here.
Miss Mary has a question for you too.
All right.
She's using the 10-inch cube to create this project, but she doesn't have all the strip dyes needed, and she's wondering how she should proceed there.
Oh, you can just use your rotary cutter and a ruler and cut those.
There we
Yeah, it's just so much faster and more accurate with a.
It really is. I mean, but just be careful and
Yes.
cut it with a ruler.
Okay, so
idea.
Erica, how wide does my strip need to be?
So 4 3/4, and you're
Okay.
going to need 2 of them.
Okay, so I have my fabric here.
You've got your
Look,
fabric
Erica,
there.
they gave us new mats.
I know, they're so nice.
wow.
And new rotary cutters, too.
Oh,
You know, there is nothing like a fresh rotary blade.
No, I know.
So I'm going to get started on cutting my background half square triangles. This is what's going to go on either side of the green pieces to make those flying geese. So I've got my strip with the fabric strip. I'm going to line it up following the shape, and then I'm just going to fan fold over the top. So we're going to need a total of 32 of these. I'm going to be able to cut with 6 layers. There's 2 on the die. That's 12 at a shot.
There you go.
Math on the fly.
Look at us, knowing how to do that.
Okay, and I've got a little tail, but we've already seen that's not going to be a problem.
So slick.
All right, Emily, do we have other questions while we're cutting here? While we're cutting?
Well, Linda asked, what's the first thing quilters need to do to their machine? And I'm thinking that might mean like sewing machine to kind of get it set up.
Pam, you want to talk us through kind of getting your sewing machine set up while
Yes. I made sure, first of all, that I have a neutral color thread. Okay, quilters ask me
Grab
this
my
all the time.
scissors.
This is my color of thread. You ready? It's Aurifil 2902.
we're okay?
And it's kind of this off green. And I find that it blends with everything, whether I'm using pink or blue or brown or green. It just kind of works together. Also, you want to have good thread. Do not buy cheap thread.
No.
It's going to be icky and it's going to break when you use it. So we use Aurifil here in our studio. I pre-wound some bobbins because I don't want to be halfway through and
Yeah.
to rewind a bobbin. And then I have a little ruler and some scissors, and I am ready to go. And this is actually the sewing machine I sew on at home.
Yes, she brought hers in today.
And it has, a 1/4 inch foot, which is super important.
That's right.
The foff that Erica's sewing on also has a 1/4 inch.
Yes, and I brought my own. I actually have a foff at home, and so I just brought my own 1/4 inch foot, so that because that's what I'm used to using. Another thing is to get sure you're ready with bobbins.
Yes.
Pam made sure she had bobbins wound. I actually brought my a couple
Pre-wound.
pre-wound bobbins that I like to use.
Yes.
Pam, while I'm finishing this up, and then I can stay here and cut your triangles for you,
Yes.
can you show them the trick with the Aurifil thread? How to get started when you first have a new spool of thread?
Yes,
Here, I've got an extra spool here,
Okay.
someplace.
And we're just going to take off the bobbin.
Yeah. So show them how to, because a lot of people don't know about that, and it can be a real challenge to get that first thread started.
Right. So Aurifil, the bottom actually comes right off.
Oh, look at
And
that.
so you can, the first thread is right here, and then you can pull it, and then you can put this back. I know Emily's like, whoa.
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that a super cool trick?
You just,
Yeah.
every
Look,
time
if
we're
you've
together.
never seen that
Having bars.
before.
And it's having bars.
Do we have any more questions from anybody, Emily?
Actually, yeah, we have a question wondering, would the flying geese die that came with my cutter work for this? And that would be the 3x6 finished
Yeah,
flying
it
geese.
would be.
that
You wanna
comes
hand
with
me
the
your-
Go Big.
Yes. Yes, is the answer to that.
The answer is yes.
Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I'm excited. I love flying geese. It's it's just such
a classic.
It's just classic, exactly.
It's so basic, and once you really master flying geese, then you can just do them for days, right, Pam?
You can. All right, so while Erica is cutting my background for my flying geese, shall I talk about the background for the trunks?
Yes. Why don't you?
Okay, I can do that.
Prepped for that.
This is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more people than are ever in my sewing room with me. So we're happy everybody's here today.
It's usually just Pam and the cat. For
Yep.
me, it's usually just me and the dog.
Yep.
Yes.
Sometimes Ray is down there with me. Okay, so Erica, we want to cut 3.5-inch strips for the outside
Right.
of the trunk. And we're going to use our strip die for that.
Yes.
So we just need 1 strip of 3.5, right?
Yes.
So what I want to do is, again, because subcutting is really going to allow me to get a perfect cut on that strip die, I'm just going to cut it like 4 inches, maybe
Okay.
3 3/4. Okay? And that way I can just lay it down on the strip die and it's going to cut a perfect strip.
Beautiful.
And then for my trunk fabric, I need a 1.5-inch strip. How many do I need, Erica, total? Do you remember?
Off the top of my head,
3.
you would
We
think
need
I would.
4. We need 4.
Ooh, I've got some more setup questions if we.
Look at this.
Sure.
I love it. So I'm gonna rapid fire a couple of them
Okay,
because they're
we
kind
can
of
answer.
they're
We
kind
can.
of related. So what size needle, what size thread, and what stitch length and width?
Boy, everybody was going to ask us that. We knew.
Okay, I like to use Schmetz Microtech needles. I think I usually use the 80/20.
That's what I use.
I have been known to use even a thinner one.
That's
on
what we're going to
occasion.
use.
Perfect.
The
But
thread
we're
is-
going to use 80/20. We are again using Aurifil, and that's going to be a 50 weight. Now, my pre-wound bobbins, I do like to use a thinner thread, so my pre-wound bobbins are actually an 80 weight.
Okay. And my stitch length is 3. I don't know.
Whatever, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. So my stitch length can go from 1 to 7, and it's like a 3.5.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, look at
Let me
you.
give you those.
Perfect. All right. And do you want to cut your strips, and then we can subcut? Do you have a?
I haven't subcut mine, so.
I will come.
So
and
why
cut.
don't you come and cut?
Okay. Truly in life, you just need somebody to sit and cut all your
Oh,
fabric.
do you want to hand me my background? Which one do you want?
3.5, please.
Okay.
And where is
3.5.
your background?
It's in the drawer. Well, I was feeling crowded.
I was feeling crowded.
Okay.
There's so many things.
Okay. Let me show you how to lay.
This is not how it works at home for you guys. Things fall over. You can't
fall
find
over.
what you need.
Okay. Let me show you how to lay fabric on a strip die. So I've cut with the fabric. See this black line? Justin, am I good? See this black line? You want it parallel to that black line.
Black
Black line. I have some allergies going on here. Okay?
I didn't really mean to make fun of her. What kind
No,
of?
you totally could. You totally could.
Kind of.
Okay? And I'm going to put a cutting mat on it
As well you should.
because nothing happens without a mat.
That's right. 3.5, so I need to cut this at 4, right? 4?
Yeah, 4.
Okay, this is such a fun question, y'all. So Roxy, she wants to replicate Mexican red barrel cactuses. She's asking how can she replicate that? I'm almost thinking so the red barrel cactuses are like the little kind of circles and they're really, really sharp and spiny.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm almost thinking just like maybe the circle die, the ghost circles, and maybe like some fun embroidery
I
for
was
the.
going to say, maybe you want to either, you could do some stitching with your machine, some straight stitches with your machine for spines, or it would be fun to use like embroidery floss. And
Right?
do those by hand and give it a little bit more dimension.
Exactly, and they have they also have like a flowering version, so you could always do the Go Flower die and put those on the top as well.
I'm breaking the set back here, guys. Sorry.
Super cute. So yeah, Roxy, I want to see pictures of how yours is going to turn out, because if you do put some cacti on your runner, then I definitely want to see
Did we
that.
get unplugged?
I did. I unplugged
Oh,
it.
we may have to.
Just hang tight. I'm good.
Okay.
Love it. And Pam, everybody's dying to know the number of your Aurifil whenever you get back to your
yes.
sewing machine. So
Okay. And yes, I'm wearing my glasses because I sew with
Allergy.
my glasses on.
Yeah, she
Hey,
says.
okay, if you hand me your strip, I'll cut our 1.5-inch strips at the same time.
Okay. Oh, here.
wow.
This is so pretty.
I know the fabrics y'all chose are just absolutely adorable. We had a couple of folks who submitted. They used the hashtag AQ Sews to kind
Great.
of.
Love that.
Miss Gail said, "Did someone say scrappy row houses? I tried to use up some stash and may have inadvertently added a bit of something new to it as well."
As you should.
Inadvertently. I love that.
Inadvertently, yes.
Love that.
And she did a bunch of kind of like almost that olivey army green for her color
Ooh, I
palette.
like
Oh, that's good.
And then there's like pops of these like, one of them is a Woodstock print with hearts and peace signs and,
Oh,
very, very
fun, yeah.
kind of hippie vintage and some fun florals. I can't wait to see how it turns out, Gail.
Okay, Erica, am I sub-cutting with a strip die? Those,
Yes, you are.
okay.
This now you're going to subcut with the 3-inch.
Yep, hang on.
But meanwhile, she's cutting. She's getting ready for our tree trunks. So she's
Meanwhile,
going to cut with the
yes.
1.5-inch strip die.
Okay, so do you see how we're doing it? We're cutting all of our fabric first. And the reason is, then you're ready to just sit and sew.
Then you're ready to sit and sew.
Because the cutting is the fastest part.
It
That's
really
right.
is.
90% faster than rotary cutters or
Yes.
scissors.
Yes.
All right.
Okay?
Let's see. Yeah, it's fun how folks are
Here's
looking
yours.
to.
Here's mine.
All right, so now we've cut the 1.5-inch strips.
Right. We're gonna
And are you gonna cut these down too, or you want?
we're gonna cut those down too. You want to do that while you're up there?
While I'm using the
Because
3-inch
you got the
strip
3.5-inch strip die up there, because these need to be 1.5 by 3.5 inch.
Okay, let's do these first so I don't confuse everybody.
Okay.
And then these are,
This is for the background on either side of the
Okay.
trunk. So you grab you'll need the 3.5
for the trunks.
for the trunks.
Okay.
So,
All the confusing things. What else?
right.
It's okay.
Don't watch. Hey, it's just like when you're sewing at home. That's what we're doing, right? We're sewing at home.
Just what we're doing.
It starts to feel
Okay,
like home
so
for
here's
us.
our trick. We're gonna take those perfect 1.5-inch strips that we just cut, and we're gonna turn them at 90 degrees on our 3.5-inch strip. And it's gonna cut
It's gonna cut.
1.5 by 3.5-inch rectangles.
There it is.
You should never have to do this with a rotary cutter.
Right.
Exactly.
And Pam's clearly going to build a forest because she needs 4 trunks, but I think she's cutting her whole strip.
Listen, I just cut the whole thing.
There you
and
go.
I want to show you this trick because we're not using the whole
Right.
die, right?
Right,
So I'm going to use a smaller mat.
And because she's using the Go Big, we've got the room. She's using a 6 by 12. How clever is that?
Exactly. So Miss Ellen is wondering why we cut width of fabric for this project.
That is such a really great
You know,
question.
width of fabric is going to be really standard for cutting any quilt project. It's going to start with cutting pretty much width of fabric strips, whether you're cutting with a Go system or whether you're cutting with a rotary cutter. Width of fabric strips is really going to be your starting place.
Okay.
That's
Here you
pretty
go, sweetie.
standard. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So now we've cut our trunks. So we cut 1.5-inch strips, turn them on the 3.5-inch strip die. Now we're going to cut the sides of the trunks. We cut 3.5-inch strips to begin with. Now we're going to do that same magic,
That's right.
and we're going to get 3.5 by 3.
That's right. And here we're going to need a total of 8.
Sure. So the trick is make sure the fold comes past the blades. Okay.
Oh, this is fun. Gail is wondering if the wooden support platform is available. But you know, the cool thing about that support platform is that it is part of it's called the Go Quilt Block Center Cutting Cabinet. And
There's so many words.
that I know, right? But it's basically, if you search cutting cabinet on our website, you could totally find it. But
There you go.
It's such a cool piece because it comes in two colors. It comes in the brown. It comes in white.
Yep.
And you can store your dies. You can store your cutting mat. Your cubes fit in there fabulously.
Yes.
It's a really slick piece.
It is.
Okay, notice how I held that as it went through? That's because I didn't want my pieces to slip.
That's right. I don't think that just the top part is available by itself.
Right.
But it does like fit into the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
So we should look. How long did it take to cut all of our pieces, Erica?
Not very long.
Not very long
Now,
at
the
all.
one thing left is our sashing. And I don't think you prepped any for your sashing yet,
I haven't.
but you can. Or you can wait, because I actually have already cut mine.
Oh, I'll just wait.
So-
Let's start sewing and show them how
I've
to
already cut my sashing, and then we're gonna, before we sew these on, these are more of the 1.5-inch strips. Before we sew these on, then we're gonna cut these down. But because we're doing the 12-inch version, we're gonna cut these down to 15.5 inch.
Oh, we're going to use a rotary
blades
cutter and
with
ruler.
a rotary cutter and a ruler.
Okay.
So
Sorry, I broke the set, guys.
that's okay. That's okay. We're all good. We're all good to go. So we've got our trunk sections. We've got our fabric. I'm not used to sewing this way. And our trees.
Yes.
And then we're going to start with our flying geese. So
Yes.
we've got our greens and our backgrounds.
There we go.
All right. Let
Here we
the
go.
sewing begin.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yep, keep going, Brock. There we go.
Oh,
Okay, so when we sew flying geese, do you want to show Erica or do you want to show me?
I don't care. Oh,
okay.
which one? Yeah. Where do you want? Where? Pam?
So look right here. These are those half square triangles. The center is a quarter square triangle. Look, we cut off the dog ears.
Yep.
So from here to here is that perfect 1/4 inch seam. So I just like to take them and chain piece for days, and that's what
And that's what we're
do.
going to do. So I'm going to move my apple cider off to the side.
There you go. Okay, Emily, don't forget if you have questions,
Yes.
you can tell us.
Right there.
So actually, Teresa loves the sewing chairs y'all are sitting on.
Oh, aren't they so
These
cute?
are super fun.
They really are. How long have we had those? I think they've been
10 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, since
Since
over
I
10
started.
years. Yeah.
Love
I
that.
think when they moved into this facility.
Yep, they moved in just right as I started, so 10 years ago. So we're sewing perfect 1/4 inch seams. We're not sewing any scant anything.
Nope,
I
not
have my
at all.
shoes off. Oh, okay, the Aurifil thread is 2902 is the color.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Forevermore, you can all know.
Pam,
I
what
usually
kind of
use,
sewing
I go with shades of gray.
shades of gray?
Shades of gray, really?
Shades of gray. Yeah.
I just choose greenish.
So we know we've got a FOF. Pam, what brand of machine are you using?
I'm using a Brother.
A Brother.
And Oakley, I bought her a Brother machine.
Oh,
So
really?
this is the big brother and she has the little brother.
Oh, that's so cute.
We have a baby lock here in the studio as well.
Yes. And of course the FOF.
And the FOF that I'm sewing on here is similar to the one that I have at home.
That is so cute. I could just see little Oakley and Pam just sewing for days. Yes.
Don't forget,
way.
quilters, we have some special deals on our website. You want to check them out at iqquilt.com
/party.
/party.
Yeah. And of course, we do have the snacks.
Yes.
Everybody wanted the recipe for my ginger snap bars when I
They're
mentioned
delicious.
them on the show the other day. So the recipe is actually in the blog. And today's blog post should already be up. I think it went up just a little bit early, just a little bit before the show.
So you could all have it. It's great. Emily, do you have questions
Exactly.
over there, sweetie?
Let's see. Oh, perfect timing. One just came in from Miss Elizabeth. She says, we're always told to use the right mat. Is the Go Big the only cutter we can change it to a different size mat?
No.
Like the right, like the correct, the exact size of
No, she's right. Like on the strip die, I
Right.
just wanted to cut those small pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Go Big is the only one that's going to let you.
It's the only one that's going to let you do that, but
You could use the 6x6 mat.
you don't want to go bigger than your die as a whole, but you can always go smaller if you're just cutting a portion of the shape. Now that comes up more often with applique shapes, right?
Yes.
So you're cutting a gnome, or maybe you cut out a gingerbread cookie, but you wanted to put a gnome hat on him. So then you're going to cut out a whole cookie, but you're only going to cut the hat part off of the gnome die. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay.
I feel like I'm learning so many new vocabulary words today, y'all. So Miss Pam Z says, are both machines using a single hole 1/4 inch foot with a single hole plate?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think this is a single hole plate.
Mine is a single hole plate.
I wish it was.
So the single hole plate means that there's just a little hole in the center right here of the plate rather than a slit. So as you sew your pieces together, it's going to just keep them so you can chain piece.
And it's less likely to get, if you're just doing straight stitches, you are less likely to get your fabric caught down in that opening.
So fun fact about this machine that I'm on, this only does a straight stitch. So if I need a decorative stitch or something fancy, I take the foff home.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's how good old Sally is too.
Or I
The
use Oakley's.
the throat with the oval opening is going to be called, or the throat plate. This is called a throat plate, and the one with the oval opening underneath the needle is going to be called universal because you need that. That'll work for straight stitching. It'll also work for like a zigzag where your needle has to go side by side.
Sure.
You try to do a zigzag with a single hole, and you're going to break your needle.
Oh, and you're going to say such bad words.
Yeah, you will.
My goodness.
Because I did that just recently. I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I need that. Or a different foot.
Or
you know?
different foot.
But my 1/4 inch foot lives on this machine because, like I say, my machine only makes a straight stitch. And I'm almost done sewing them, and then we're gonna show you how we're gonna press them.
Yep.
Perfect.
Coming down the pike.
So Miss Amelia is wondering, when y'all go to retreats, do you use the same machine or a smaller version?
I take my machine to a retreat.
Yeah.
I always take my own machine, but sometimes I take my featherweight. I do have a featherweight, and I did get, thanks to the featherweight doctor,
You should totally follow her.
who is really fun to follow if you have a featherweight.
Yeah.
Darlene's been here as a guest on our show, and thanks to her, I was able to get a 1/4 inch foot. I think Miss Emily was also.
Yes.
And which makes all the difference in the world, because when I first got my featherweight, I had wanted one for so long, and I got it, and I sat down to sew, and I go, but there's no 1/4 inch foot, and I didn't know they made one for it. So it was a happy day when I found out they did.
Okay, so here's my 32 halves.
There you go.
Like a little
Okay.
banner.
So I'm gonna snip them real quick. I'm just gonna snip a few so I can show you how we're gonna press them.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
And while you do that, I'm going to finish here, and I'm going to apologize for the fact that I'm missing polish on one nail because my dip nail broke off and disappeared at the beginning of the show. So
Okay.
I have a
So-
naked nail.
This first half, we're gonna just open it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna do a few. And the lovely Erica is gonna finish there, and I'm going to let her do a few, and then I can add some to the other side.
Yeah.
But I found if you just give it a little press, then it's easier to open it up.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, what did you do?
Look. All right.
Okay.
So while we're having, do we have questions, Emily?
Let's see. Barbara is wondering, could you show how to lay them out to sew? But I think you guys kind of did that just a second.
We'll show you how
do it
we're
again
laying
in just
out
a moment.
east side too.
On the other side,
on the other
exactly.
side.
Exactly.
You scoot
And actually,
your scissors
Kathy,
over. I left mine by the.
Kathy loves you both sewing. Is there a better needle size that you recommend to use?
80/20 is all I ever use
Perfect.
for cotton. If I use denim, I get a heavier one.
Yeah,
but
if you're using something heavier,
but
go with the heavier
99%
needle.
of the time in my life, I am sewing cotton.
That's awesome.
And that's just what I do.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that we probably don't any of us do often enough is change our needles.
Oh, so that's really a great thought. Every time I finish a project, I change my needle.
That's really a best practice.
Yes.
I lose track because I'm always doing so many things at once.
Oh, yeah.
You
I agree
know,
with
That's
that.
true. Okay, Erica,
happens.
have you cut some?
I've cut some.
Okay, I'm going to let you press some, and then I'm going to show them how to start on the other side.
Okay.
Remember, it's not a race.
It's not a race. If you don't get all of yours done during the show, well, I wouldn't expect you to get them all done during the show.
Yep, here you go.
Then what would you do the rest of the weekend, right?
That's right. Watch that. That is a hot iron.
Okay.
Miss
Okay.
Sandy is wondering, she thought that we should iron to the dark side, but we're opening the seams flat, and she's wondering why we did that this time.
In just a second, we'll show you why.
Perfect.
Okay, so we pressed one side open, and now we can add the other side to it. And the reason we press this side open is so that when we sew this seam here, it's gonna lay flat,
Oh, okay.
okay? But when I sew this side, I'm just gonna press to the outside.
Yep.
So one side is open, the other side is away. Awesome. And it doesn't matter which side you sew, right? First.
No, it doesn't.
No, but don't you always sew the right, as you're
Yes.
looking at the right side first?
Oh, that's funny.
But the other thing is that you don't want to, if you're going to press to one side, you want to press to the outside with flying geese instead of to the inside.
Okay.
So oftentimes that would be the dark side, but in this case, for me, it isn't because I have a lighter background.
Yeah, we just press away, all right? So, see how we have this? Justin, are we good? I've laid that other half square triangle down. Oh, here, I'll hold it up. Look at. And since I sewed it with a true 1/4 inch seam, it's gonna work.
Perfect.
Okay.
So Karma wonders, what is a featherweight?
Oh, Emily can answer that question.
Yes, she
Talk about
She owns
featherweights.
one.
So it is a type of Singer sewing machine. Singer was the company who made this, and this model was designed to be portable and light for any sewist, and it's just it's a workhorse. It just does such an amazing job, and it's like a cult. There's a cult of featherweight lovers.
there are tons of quilters who will only piece on a featherweight.
Exactly.
It does a great seam. It just goes forward and back. It's a basic machine. I mean, they're a vintage machine, right?
It takes some love to have a featherweight.
But it also is something that you can learn how to basically, for the most part, service yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it is a very basic and featherweight, it has been pointed out to me by members of my family who have encountered mine, is not necessarily accurate in today's way of thinking of weight. It's like cast iron. I mean, it's heavy,
solid.
but it's small, and the side folds up. They're so cute.
They really are.
And if you don't follow her, if you own a featherweight, you should follow the Featherweight Doctor on social media. She's our good friend, and she has like Friday sip and sews, and you can drink wine and sewing your featherweight
And
with her.
she does all,
Darlene is her name.
Darlene does all kinds of fun I mean, she quilts on her featherweight.
Yes,
She
she's
does
a rock star.
all kinds of things on her featherweight.
She's out of Sandpoint, Idaho.
She, and if you're in the area, she actually does have a storefront in Idaho.
She does.
She was the one who made me realize I wasn't using a 1/4-inch foot for the first, 8
Yes.
quilts.
Emily went to her class at our local quilt store.
Yep, I did the service class for my featherweight, and then I also did a sew along, which was just a blast.
You learned a lot, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, a million new things. And
Oh, and we should totally give a shout out to the Celtic Quilter because they have a prize for us.
Yes,
On our last day, they have a special prize.
oh boy.
one of our AccuQuilt retailers here in town, the Celtic Quilter, and they have donated a great prize. It is a basket full of goodies that any quilter is gonna love. Okay,
Perfect. Are you done?
switch.
Switch.
Note to self, may need another ironing mat.
Yes, for the next time.
I'll bring mine.
We'll do 2.
Yes, we'll do too.
I don't know. We're pretty good at sharing.
We do share well. Okay, so now it's my turn to go ahead and line up. And again, I'm gonna I'm lined up and I'm ready to go and I'm gonna start chain piecing away.
Oh, this is so funny. Lori says, I haven't found a featherweight to buy yet, so I just got a tattoo of one.
Oh, that's
Well, there you
hilarious.
go.
And Darlene has one too.
Darlene does have one.
Does have one.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And she has cool quilt block tattoos too.
Yes, I think that is so cool.
I have a featherweight cookie cutter.
Really?
I do.
I didn't, oh my gosh, they make those? That's so cute.
Emily's, the minute the show is over, is
I'm
gonna
literally
be
going
Googling that.
online shopping, yes.
It was a gift from Buff who taught me how to sew.
I love that.
Thank you, Buff.
Oh, Sharon says she's from Liberty Center, Ohio. She's wondering what's the best AccuQuilt cutter for a first timer?
Oh, you should get our Ready, Set, Go. Has our manual machine and an 8-inch cube and a 2.5-inch strip die. Just add fabric.
It's also got that great book by Eleanor Burns that's really like a roadmap to getting started with the Go system.
Yes.
It's so true.
Fantastic.
And we have lots and lots of videos on our YouTube channels and our website on the different cutters and how to use them and the cubes and strip dies. So yeah, first time, boy, you should get that Ready, Set, Go.
Yeah.
All right.
How you doing over there, Miss Erica?
I'm piecing. Are you?
Oh, they're just flying
Pressing?
through.
Press, and I'm having a great time.
You know, we're chain piecing. What could be? We're chain piecing. We have snacks. What could be wrong?
Right.
Exactly.
Don't forget, quilters, if you have questions, put them in the chat section, and Emily will
Oh,
read
that's
them
right.
to us.
Yes. We have another question from Miss Annie.
Hi, Annie.
With the various bob dies, is there a specific way to build the blocks? I always end up with wonky blocks, and because they are the exact size, I don't have the option to square them up. What's the
Yes.
secret to success?
So you should go to the block assembly page. So when you open up, for example, the Storm at Sea die, scroll down, there's a block assembly diagram. That's what you should print out and follow.
Exactly.
Because it's going to tell you how to sew the piece together. It really does make a difference.
It does. It does. And sometimes in testing, we'll try different ways and see what works.
Oh my, yes.
So take advantage of our work on this and
Yes.
and
Because we've learned a few things about.
we have. It's amazing what you can learn when you work on something for a while.
Yes.
Indeed.
But that's a really great question.
That is a great question. You know, the other thing that's on the product pages are the videos of us putting together that block, and that's another great reference.
Oh, so we have a customer who's reviewing the pattern to make the houses. Can you cut strips of the different colors and then just subcut them?
So you need 9 different fabrics.
Ah,
So we'll talk about next week.
Yes, we're building houses next week.
Today we're building trees.
We're building trees. Who
And then
knows
the
what would
last day-
happen if we got confused between the two?
We'll build communities after that.
Yes.
We're doing our part to add to the. How you doing over there, Miss Erica?
I'm coming along. How about you, Pam?
I am almost done here, and then we can talk about building trunks.
Building trunks. That's
Building
fantastic.
trunks.
Because every good tree needs a trunk.
Yes.
Right.
I'm about done, I think.
Good.
You're probably closer than I am.
No, it's okay. I put. I realized when I cut these, some of them I still had the salvage on, but it'll be fine
Oh,
because they're part of that 1/4 inch seam,
Yeah.
so I'm not too worried.
So Miss Teresa's wondering if there's a sew along using the log cabin die, but I'm pretty sure we did an AQ live on the log cabin not too long ago.
Yes,
Pam.
we did the log cabin die, and it is one of my favorite dies.
It is.
The thing to remember about the log cabin die is that it has enough pieces to make a 13-inch block. You need to stop at 12 or stop at 10 or whatever it
or
is.
whatever size, yeah.
Because it has enough strips, so the 11 and a half and the 12 and a half, if you add that last piece, it makes it bigger. And
Oh,
so
wow.
you just have to measure your block. But you needed one of them, not two of them. And so
Right.
we had to add it to the die.
Sure. Oh, that's fun.
But I did that great pattern with the log cabin in the schoolhouse.
Yes, you did. Oh, I love that pattern.
Right.
All right, so now I have finished all of my flying geese.
I'm on my last
Are
one.
ya?
I
Okay,
am.
So let me just show you how to press these.
Yes, and then,
And then we'll have Erica show you how to start assembling your trunks.
that's right.
Because we can multitask.
Yes.
We have more than one camera.
We're a team.
Yes.
Woo.
Y'all, Miss Kim is.
Is this the first time?
This is not just
I know, it's so fun.
so fun every time.
Da-da-da-da.
I cut extra geese. Shocking.
Every
Shocking.
time that happens,
Okay.
I'm like, that's a banner.
So now,
It is a banner.
all right. So now the right side we pressed open.
Yes.
So now the left side, as you look at it, I am going to press away.
Yes.
And is that how you do it
And
too?
I will also.
Okay.
Well, would you
Now,
look at
if
that?
you're making the 4-inch size, the 5-inch size, I'm going to say to go ahead and press them both sides open.
Yeah, because they're
Because
super
they're teensy tiny at that point,
small.
right?
They are. All right, so I'm just
But
giving it a
ever
little.
so cute.
So cute. And I like to press mine from the back because then I can see how it's laying out and I can just press away.
And pressing is the term. Notice how she's doing that.
I'm not going like
She's
this.
not ironing, she's pressing.
Yeah, irons are what you do. Ironing is what you do for shirts.
Yes.
Okay?
Because you don't want to stretch things out.
All right, Miss Erica.
Okay. Pam is going to keep
pressing.
pressing, and we're going to talk tree trunks. So
We're going
let's
to talk about trunks.
So the base, you're going to take a tree trunk.
Can you see it
piece.
okay there?
Can you see it okay? Am I where you need to be? Okay. And all we have to do is sew a side piece on on either side.
And how many trunks do we need?
So we have 4 trees we're making, so we need 4 trunks.
Okay.
So I'm going to sew all on one side and then sew all of them on the other side,
Oh, there you go.
right?
Yeah. I cut out too many half square triangles as well.
And too many, but you know what?
We're keeping them. I'm not worried about it.
That's right.
All right. So while Erica's doing that,
Worst case scenario, they go into your scraps, right?
right?
And then you use them when you make a smaller version of your row house. So I'm going to start sewing one side on. And then I'll sew the other side on.
And then I'm going to give her the iron so she can press some of her trees
press
so
a
we can show
few.
you how to make the tree units.
Oh, speaking of trees, Miss Wanda says this pattern would look so sweet with maple trees and falling leaves. I wonder if there's a dye for that.
Wonder if there is.
I know we've got the maple leaf dye.
Yes, and we have lots of leaf dyes.
Lots of leaf dyes. You know, another thing, and you're getting ahead of me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got an extra trunk. Not a problem. I'm sure I'll use it. One of the things that we're going to talk about with embellishing our runners and things to add as far as applique and trim and that kind of thing, embroidery. So be thinking about all of those things that you could add on.
Oh my, yes.
That's going to be part of our discussion. Okay, I'm cutting these apart so I can sew the other side on.
There you go.
And trimming the little leader threads because that makes me crazy.
Okay. And I'm going to give you back this iron so you can press out your...
My geese?
You want to give them to me and I'll press while you sew?
Sure. I will take somebody volunteering to press my
Right?
flying geese open every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Pressing, not my favorite thing. So so are you chain piecing over there, Erica?
I am chain piecing. So
Okay.
now I'm going to sew the other piece of the background fabric on the other side of my trunks.
Okay.
Those are words you never thought you'd hear, right?
Never.
So, Miss Kim is wondering, when you use the setting triangles, do you put the corners on or sides on first?
I build the rows like the pattern tells me.
Yes.
Perfect.
Because sometimes setting triangles don't need the corners. We did one just the other day.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. We did. So follow that, and you're putting your rows together at angles
At a diagonal there.
on a diagonal, and then you're putting those rows together. So you're not doing straight across rows.
Right.
Miss Rebecca's wondering if either of you use a clapper when you sew at home.
I do.
I do not.
We haven't started our clapping, and I hadn't gotten one until fairly recently. I was at my local quilt shop, and there was we have somebody local who makes them for
Yes.
the shop, and I saw them in
my geese.
action, and I was with my quilting partner, and she said, okay, you need this, and so I bought one. And now I wish I had more than one.
See, I've never used them, so
I'll have to show her.
okay. All right.
I also have a roller, and sometimes
Oh, I have a roller.
sometimes I'll use Kelly gave us rollers.
Yes,
I hadn't
she did.
used one before that. Okay, so now I've got my trunk sections, and here I am going to press to the dark side. I think I'm going to press towards my trunk.
Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm almost done with your geese, and then you can show
I
them how
love
to.
having Pam here doing my pressing.
I know
for me.
it. Then you can show
I'm
them
gonna
how
get a
to
little drink of apple cider.
create
and-
this. Okay, so that's the real question people want to know is like, what do we really sew with? So I never sew with shoes on. I always have socks on. Today I have my little knitted socks that one of our
I love
viewers
my
made
socks, my shoes on.
I never
usually do. I don't.
Never.
I don't normally.
and always like in my yoga pants or pajamas. Here you go, sweetie.
Yes, thank you.
And always a drink, but not always snacks. Do you always have snacks?
Pretty much at all times, my top drawer next to me has a box of Junior Mints. But just a couple, here and there, and I'm good, kind of thing. So usually I can make a box last about a week, so I just keep it stocked.
There you go.
I just keep it stocked. But that's a newer development in my sewing days. Not always do I have snacks.
Yeah.
I always have something to drink, though.
Always. And what is your drink of choice when you're sewing?
I try to make it water.
Good on you.
But sometimes it's during the summer, I am partial, I got to admit, I'm partial to Arnold Palmer's iced tea and lemonade together.
Hey, guess what I've lost?
What have you lost?
My trunks.
Your trunks? You cut trunks.
I did cut trunks. Oh, here they are.
The trunks are on walkabout.
Oh, this is like real life. In real life, I lose pieces of my sewing
All the
room.
time.
All the time.
All the time.
Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what Erica did. I'm going to put a trunk, and I only need 4, but of course, I cut 37 of them.
Right.
I just
Because
need
we're
4.
talking. See, normally we're not talking in our sewing rooms. Well, sometimes I am. I have my sewing room set up so that I have a guest space across from me. So if I have somebody that's come over to sew, usually it's my my girlfriend Judy, then we'll sit and talk. Sometimes we don't talk though. Sometimes she can be there and we can sew without speaking for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Ah,
And if y'all want to check out, Erica's sewing room, we did a TikTok on there.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Which was super fun.
it
so
is
if you
super
want a
fun.
little-
I is just me in my sewing room, and I am a big fan of television and movies, but I can only watch movies that I've seen before
Right.
because I just need the noise. I don't need to have. I can't pay attention.
Right, I can't pay attention. Yeah.
Completely
because
agree.
I'm trying to keep track here.
Okay, I'm gonna lay out a tree.
Yes.
ready?
And she's going to give you this. This is really important. A tip on sewing the flying geese so you don't lose the tip of the tree.
That's right. So I'm gonna lay out my tree. I think
Are
I'm
you good
gonna
there,
go.
Justin?
Are we good? Are we where you need? Okay, thank you.
Thumbs up here.
Again, I'm not used to having to ask if my fabric is in the right position when I sew. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna sew these two together. But here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna always sew them together. I'm scooching so that, are we good? No, yes? The tree, the tip is what's going under the needle, okay? So I'm always gonna sew, I'm not gonna sew it this way, that's flat. I wanna sew it on the side up, on top, so that I can see that intersection point, okay? This is another great way, I mean, you'll see it other ways, but I'm gonna see exactly where that is. And I'm gonna stitch this. Now, I can see exactly where that tip is, and this way I can make sure I am not cutting off the tip of my flying geese.
But my favorite scene in Milan is when the Hun comes and he cuts off the top of the tree. It's my favorite.
Okay.
While we're talking, you
Meanwhile,
cutting
off topic.
Meanwhile, squirrel.
Okay, so now I'm gonna fold this over, and this is how they go together, but I'm gonna sew it with the trunk part on top. Here's my little intersection, right there. You can see right where my threads intersect, where the seams are. I want to sew to the top of that intersection point so that I can have my pretty little treetop.
And are you making your trees in the same order?
Probably. I think this is the same order I used before when I sewed some.
If not, then you can say no, Pam. I'm not.
Or I could say not, because it doesn't really matter. It's your trees.
Doesn't matter. It's your trees. It's your forest. Build it how you want.
That's right.
Exactly.
Build your forest.
So I'm just going to press my trunks open, just like Erica did.
So Miss Pat is still trying to cut the trees. She says, I'm doing the 4-inch cube. It says to cut 3.5 by 3.5 inch square. The number 4 die is a triangle. So confused.
No.
That's
the number
the
4
center.
die is a quarter square triangle.
It is a
Right.
quarter square triangle.
So that's the problem.
I bet the,
Just cut with the fabric strip. Don't cut squares. You can fan fold back
there you
and
go.
forth.
Perfect. And then Teresa would love to know what a clapper and a roller is.
Oh, okay. So a clapper is a piece of wood, but it's. I think they're usually solid maple, and they're kind of oval shape, different varying lengths, and after you press a seam, then you set your clapper on top of it. And it works really, really well if you're using the wool ironing mats too. And then it just gives you the flattest seam you've ever gotten. A roller is a wooden, it's a handle with a wooden, like a wheel on it, roller, and you can open up, and if you don't want to iron, or maybe you're, you know, don't have enough outlets to plug in your iron or whatever, you can use that to press your seams, roll your seams. You can,
Wow.
kind of like a little
We'll bring
mini
him in
rolling
on
pin.
next Friday.
Yes.
Cool.
We're here all week, but next Friday we're
Yes,
gonna.
next Friday we'll have those here for you.
That's good.
All right, so once Erica is sewing her trees together,
Right.
then she's going to sew a few sashing strips on.
Yes.
But again, this is not a race. You can come
This
back
is
and
not
watch
a race.
this.
We're not
And
going to get
I'm not
all
going
of
to get all
ours.
of my sashing pieces
Nope.
cut and sewn today. So just, it's not a race.
So here are my 4 tree units,
How cute.
my 4 flying geese. And see, this way I've got my seams. I can see my points on every single one. Now I'm going to put my trunk unit on the bottom. We're going to line that up.
Adorable.
In the UK, they call a trunk a boot.
Well, in your car, but if not for a
I know.
Tree.
I'm just
For a
making
tree,
conversation
oh.
here, Erica.
were you thinking that we were
No, but I just thought
gotta
that's
fill
always
the
funny.
you got to fill the air, huh?
No, I don't.
No dead space.
When I'm home sewing, I don't talk to people for hours, unless you call.
All right. Which happens
Quite often.
quite often. Okay.
Oh, here's a good question. Can you wash the wool pressing mats?
No.
Well, I mean, if you got something, okay, if you got your junior mints melted on it, you could probably spot clean it, but I wouldn't put it in the washing machine.
Yeah, no, it'll smell bad forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The minute it gets wet.
It's felted wool, but yeah, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Agreed.
What I really need is a new ironing board cover for my big iron. Erica makes fun of me every time I send her pictures, and she's like, Pam, just go get you a new one. I think
It's
the
really bad.
It's burned and brown. And
it's
terrible.
bad.
It's terrible. Okay, so look, here's my trees. And look, I did Erica's tip. So my tips are where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to do it again.
Cute.
And then I also am going to make a tree trunk section.
Okay.
You got big plans this weekend, Erica?
I have a wedding. Hey, I should shout out congrats to Courtney and Rush, who are getting married tonight.
There you go.
Both of my daughters are in the wedding, and my granddaughter is the flower girl. So
There you go.
that'll be fun. And after that, my main plan is sewing.
Yeah. Emily, you got big plans this weekend?
You know, I'm actually going to go to a vineyard with a very, very close friend of mine and her hubby, and we're just going to do a little bit of maybe apple picking and, you know, see where it leads us.
There you go.
The first vineyard.
Vineyard. See, we have things in Nebraska. We have
excited, yeah.
vineyards.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I've already cut sashing strip, and I'm just going to sew this one onto the left side, or the right side, I guess this is. I'm going to sew it onto one side of my,
There you go.
there we go, because I can,
Because you can.
because I can.
And Erica, when I pressed my trees, how did I press them? Down or up?
I pressed them up.
Okay.
I pressed them up like this.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
I basically,
I find that works.
I will go with what I like to call the path of least resistance.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
So these strips, again, are going to be 1.5 for the 12-inch version, 1.5 by 15.5, because your tree and house units are going to be 15.5 inches tall before they get sewn into your project.
So we're going to let you use your rotary cutter, but this is the only time.
That's right. And I had already gotten one cut because I've been making these
Oh, for days.
below these many days because I've been taking pictures of mine as I go for the blog.
I'm just like the rest of you. Today was the first day I cut any of my pieces.
So let's see here. I know we have a couple of questions. Oh, Linda's wondering, is there a difference between a table runner and a bed runner?
Size.
Size, length.
So this pattern originally was called the row house bed runner. But since we have different sizes of the project available, obviously it's gonna, you make it with a 4-inch cube, you're gonna be sewing a lot of blocks to make a bed runner.
Sure.
So we just kind of shortened it to the universal runner
Right.
so that it would work for all the different sizes.
This is my drink of choice. This is a Bai water, B-A-I. I like
Yes.
watermelon. Okay, so look, ta-da!
There you go.
I have a row of trees.
There you go.
Skirting my
She's got a
forest.
tree.
Yes.
Part of her forest, and here's
Yes.
I've got a sashing strip on
You
mine.
keep doing the sashing. I'm going to keep making because we're almost done for today.
Right, we are.
We wanted to show you how to cut and sew your tree.
That's right. That's right.
This is so exciting.
I'm
Look
gonna
how
press
quickly
this, and then it'll. I think
It'll lay beautifully.
it'll lay beautifully.
Yeah. This is just coming together so quickly. It's awesome.
It really is. It really is. Whoop.
Are you okay? Don't burn yourself
I
there.
won't burn myself. Okay. I have been
She
known
says
to burn.
that like she's never
know,
done that.
I know. I was going to say, I have been known to do that on the set by reaching my stubby little arms across to get something. So,
Annie says she once used steam on her wool press.
What is the answer to that?
No,
Never.
none steam
None
ever.
steam ever.
steam can do. Now there are quilters who swear by steam.
There are, and I love all of you, but
And there aren't any dye police, and if steaming works for you,
go for it.
but steaming, I've
I've had perfectly good fabric.
perfectly good fabric that has not held up well to steam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have warped blocks by over steaming,
Yes.
even when pressing.
All right. How you doing over there? You almost done?
I am doing good. I've got this one all done. So then
Okay.
what I have left to do then, I will build the top of my other 3 trees and cut down my sashing strips, and I will be ready to start next week with houses.
Excellent.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to have all of our pieces ready for next week.
Yes?
So again, take your time. Do
That's right.
Do whatever you need
That's
to do.
right.
Some of you might have to get up and make lunch. I'm just saying.
Yes.
But for more tips and tricks on the section of this runner, check out today's blog post called Go Row House Runner, Planting Your Trees. Written, of course, by the lovely Erica.
That's right. Thank you, Miss Pam. Now, along with my post for today, I also have one for the introduction to the Sew Along series. It's called Get Ready for AccuQuilt Sew Along. Isn't that a catchy title?
There, that is
There
clever.
you go. Well, we
Did
like
it
to tell
take
you
a
what you're
long
getting
time
into.
to make that.
Yes, which includes the different fabric requirements. It talks about the different finish sizes for the different cubes and what you'll need to use for making it. So I'll be writing more for the remaining sections as we make them, so you can look forward to another post next Friday that'll talk about next Friday's post.
And while you're there, be sure to subscribe to the AccuQuilt blog so you don't miss a single tip or exclusive tutorial.
That's right. Don't miss the next part. It's next Friday, October 21st at 12 noon Central Time.
We'll be cutting and sewing the rest of the shapes for the runner, which are basically the house sections and then the borders.
That's right.
So be sure and register and tune in.
That's right. Now, quilters, before we end part 1 of our sew along for the Go Row House Runner, we want to announce the winner of today's giveaway.
They get this. Look at this. You're going to get a 2 rulers and a rotary
rulers,
cutter
cutter.
and a Go mug.
And
It is clean.
yes, yeah, it's not the one I used.
Not the one Erica uses.
And you're also going to get an 18x4 rotary cutting mat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. This is the size you're getting. This one Erica and
Yeah.
I are using today.
Yeah.
They're new. They're fun. Okay. So our giveaways are just one way to say thank you to our viewers who registered and tuned in for today's show.
So the lucky winner of a cut and coffee mug combo today is, drum roll please, it's Janice R. from Scappoose, Oregon. Congratulations.
Janice, you're going to love it. All right. Don't forget, we have tons of special offers available for you on our website at AccuQuilt.com.
That's right. To get your order in right now, open a new tab in your browser, type in AccuQuilt.com/party to see the current deals and place that order.
All right, it's time for me and Erica to finish up what we're doing here.
That's right.
Get ready for part 2.
That's
we
right.
hope you are as excited as we are about continuing the Go Row House Runner.
That's right. Thank you for joining us for part 1 of this project. We can't wait to work on this with you again. So be sure to post the pictures of your progress on social media. Remember, add in hashtag AQSews in your description of the picture so that we can all see what everyone is doing.
Oh, I'm so excited to see your projects. Remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time.
So you can quilt and sew along more.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.